Dear students, let us start the discussion on 02nd June 2016 newspaper. The first article is related to bilateral investment treaty agreements which India has signed with various European Union countries, and what are the possibilities the present Modi's visit will lead to a bilateral investment treaty between India and US. Now, after India signed the bilateral investment treaties, India was dragged into international courts, especially related to its tax policies. The Vodafone case, Kane India case, India has involved with bitter arbitration. So in these circumstances, India is trying to revisit its bilateral investment treaty so that it cannot be dragged into the under the international laws. So in this context, there is a major difference between the bilateral investment treaties, the model treaties prepared by India and United States of America. The first among this is the most favored nation. So what US considers is any United States investments in India shall be treated on par with the Indian investments in the domestic sector. So it means whatever the rules apply to the local investments shall also apply the international investments. But India's bilateral investment treaty do not get this clause. It means that India can treat the foreign companies differentially from the Indian companies. And second is the total tax clauses. Indian model completely excludes the taxation from the purview of the bilateral investment treaty. So it means that if tomorrow India makes a retrospective tax law application, it means the company cannot go to the international or cannot go to a court under the international laws. And the third thing is the intellectual property rights and compulsory licensing are also totally kept out of this bilateral investment treaty. So again, the America always stresses on protection of its intellectual property rights. And finally, if there is any conflict with regard to a foreign company, first it has to go through the Indian legal process and only after 5 years it can access the international law. So it means that it is totally depriving them of a justice. So in these circumstances, with huge cases pending in Indian judiciary, it may not be a very enthusiastic step for the foreign companies to invest in India. So these 4 points, they may not lead to an bilateral investment treaty between India and United States. Added to that, if you see WTO issues, so with regard to poultry and the recent solar panel case, the US won over India, and India wants to challenge the visa fee hike by the United States in a court of law. Now, the second thing is India-European Union. So you have a broad-based free trade agreement talks between India and European Union. So in this case, the key demands are India and European Union, especially European Union to India, are the end of tariffs on automobiles, wines and spirits. India wants to have a data secure nation status from the European Union. Along with that, another issue that is coming up is bilateral investment treaty. So the European Union accuses India that it wants to unilaterally get away from the bilateral investment treaty rather than mutually negotiating the treaties to their convenience. So these two are the major irritants which are coming up. Coming to the Germany, so recently German Chancellor has said that all the immigrants shall learn the German values, shall get trained in the various jobs. And finally, the German municipality, it also wants to bring in the immigrants distributed throughout the country in such a way that an integration with the local community is possible. Now, if you observe from 1960 to 70s, when Germany has allowed for various immigrants under the guest worker policy, it was able to integrate them thoroughly with the German society at large. Though there are certain social and economic differences still exist, by and large, integration with the German economy or German society is much better compared to other European countries. It is also one of the reasons why Germany is least exposed to the international terrorism. So in this context, Germany is the country which has largely exposed to the immigrants from Syria, and the rightist wing parties in Germany, they are talking away, or else they are talking for sending these immigrants away. But however, the aging world population in Germany needs new immigrant work population to make its economy running. So in these circumstances, Germany's integration policy has to be applauded. It is truly pragmatic approach and also a nationalistic perspective. Both of them are colluded with this particular issue is concerned. Now, so with regard to the shell shock at Pulgaon, recently there is a major fire accident at the central ammunition depot. So in this context, what is happening is this. So India has to maintain a minimal or war wastage reserve. And the second thing is the minimal acceptable risk level, at least to do 20 days of intense war, the ammunition. But however, in most of the categories, out of 170 types of items listed in more than 125 types of items, India has the less weapons considered. That's what is the audit report has found. And also audit report has warned about the logistics management. So India has to pay dearly if it does not improve its fire standards and standard operating procedures. Now, challenge of sustaining growth. Now, this quarter has seen a good growth of 7.9%. But at the same time, there are few challenges which still remain. So one is the private sector investments are not improving and governmental investment is only the source. And second, exports are not improving as expected. And the majorly Indian economy, agricultural economy is monsoon dependent. The monsoons and their distribution, they are going to impact or decide on the sustainability of this growth process. And coming to PSUs, the government cabinet agreed retrospectively that it can relax the rules for PSU recruitment to allow for private sector talent and also from the state PSUs to the central PSUs. So because of this, the quality manpower will be available with the governmental agencies, and also there is another side risk. Because the higher or better performing people in the private sector may not come, and people who want the job security may just jump into the government. It may lead to a overburdening on the government. That's what his cabinet secretary says. So these are the articles for yesterday. Thank you very much.